Okay, Shalom, first and foremost. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful like Akim, pushing his word with truth and sincerity. All right, this is going to be a quick lesson. I had just seen this video before I play it, fair use, under the Copyright Act. This ain't for no monetary gain, just for edification, for education, free comment and speech, so fair use on that. They're gonna do what they do with it. But as you can see, what we about to go into and play, it says victims of slavery and the transatlantic slave trade. UN Chief's message, United Nations, from the United Nations. All right. And this video was back in March. So it says it was on March 22nd up here. It says March 25th on the bottom. So it says video message by Antonio Guterres, which is the chief of the UN. All right. Oh, and it just has it transcribed. So we're going to play this and get some
commemorate
scriptures.
the victims of a staggering crime. Millions of people stolen from their families and communities in Africa, trafficked across the Atlantic, and if they survived the journey, enslaved in the Americas. Millions more were born into bondage, brutally exploited for their labor, and denied their basic humanity. We honor their quiet resilience and courageous acts of open resistance. This global order prevailed for over 400 years and haunts our world even now. In systems and institutions shaped and enriched by chattel slavery, in social and economic inequalities rooted in past injustices, and in biases that permeate our culture and impact us all. On this International Day of Remembrance of the victims of slavery and the transatlantic slave trade, we are called to confront these legacies. By rejecting the false narrative of racial difference and the ugly lie of white supremacy, by dismantling racism online, in the media, in schools, at work, in politics, and within ourselves, and by working for truth, justice, and repair. I welcome the initial steps by some governments to address the consequences of slavery. But far bolder actions by many more member states are needed, including commitments to respect African countries' ownership of their own resources, and steps to ensure their equal participation and influence in the global financial architecture and the UN Security Council. Together, let us commit to a world where all people live and thrive in dignity.
Except for Israel, okay? Speaking of the true Israelites, guys, chosen nation, so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. All right, pretty much what was being said was that we're here to help Ham, all right, the so-called African, because that's who he related it to, when that wasn't Hamites being transported on that transatlantic slave trade. No, it was Jake, primarily from the Southern Kingdom, all right, Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. All right, that's who was on that cargo slave trade. He also said, I'm not going to go back and play it, but all right, they need to protect or bring the truth about the lie of white supremacy. Well, okay, there is no lie about white supremacy. There is, and there was and still is white supremacy. All right. And that slave trade, all right, Yahweh Shem Yahushai allowing these devils to go from low to, when he raised them up to have power over Jacob, all right, they used it and abused that authority to keep Jake low, all right. This country, America, Babylon the Great, was built off of the labor, all right, of those slaves, both northern and southern kingdom were enslaved together. Let's actually grab that. I have a bunch of precepts in my head, but that was pretty much a bunch of bullshit. And this devil, as always, trying to rewrite the narrative in his favor, saying that there is no white supremacy, saying that, to respect Africa and let Africans, which he's speaking of those Hamites, have their own resources and be entitled to their own resources. He's not helping you, Jake. He's not helping Israel. The Israelites. No, his motive is for these other nations. All right. Just as it says in Psalms the 83rd chapter, these other nations were confederate against these. So I'm going to go through the spirit, but bring it out in order how I had originally intended. And this is a Zechariah. Lord willing, this be edifying. Just kind of, I seen that and I was like, man, ain't that some shit? And I got the spirit going. This is Zechariah 11:5. It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Exactly what this man was saying, and attempting to do. All right. Holding themselves not guilty, which this beast system and current rulership of this world, all right, they're going to have to pay for it. As Yahweh Bashim al-Shai said, he will not acquit, all right, the wicked. And they that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. So, all right, they praise the Most High for giving them that power, all right, to have that dominion, all right. And they say that they not guilty when they are, all right, guilty for those deeds, all right, and these other confederate nations. So let's go here in Psalms 83, which it all starts with, the tiny tops, Esau, which are the head of Esau, Edom. This is Psalm 83. And I'll start at 2. It says, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones, the hidden ones being Israel. And they that hate thee, speaking of the other nations, all right, that were conglomerate, together. See, it says, that they were confederate together. It says, for they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, and the list goes on, There's Jabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines, the inhabitants of Tyre, going back to Ham, Ashur, Assyria. All right. Also is joined with them. They have Hopin, the children of Lot, Selah. All right. Now let's go here. Joel 3:3, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do? That is in the slave trade, right? Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine, Tyre and Zidon? All right, talking about Hamites and Ishmaelites. All right. And all the coasts of Palestine, will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Right? So these other nations have a recompense coming to them. Thus saith Yahweh Bashim al-Shai. Because they did what? Sold a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine. That's speaking of that slave trade. Now, Africans didn't go through that slave trade. It's actually documented in the book of Deuteronomy as a prophecy that we always go into, that transatlantic slave trade was fulfilled, all right, and was a curse brought upon the nation of Israel, the Negro, Latino, and Native American, because they both were a part of that. As the Northern Kingdom was getting shipped to Spain, all right, they were bringing the Southern Kingdom over to the Americas, all right, as the Northern Kingdom was already over here after fleeing from the Assyrian captivity. This is Deuteronomy 28:4. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from... Oh, where am I at? Deuteronomy 28:68. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again. Egypt being bondage. All right. With ships, transatlantic slave trade, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, no man shall redeem you. Now, Yahweh, this was a curse from Yahweh Shemel Shai. The 28th chapter tells you the curses would be, well, just a mark, a sign, and a wonder. This is verse 48. And it says there, so it's going to be verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh Shemel Shai, thy power to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. There you go. A mark, sign, and wonder, an indicator who God's chosen people are. This is going to be Jeremiah 50:33, to show you that all of Israel was included in this. Thus saith the Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. All right? They refused, just as they're refusing, all right, to bring justice, true justice about it. All right? They won't admit their own wrongs, because this is the devil, the adversary. All right, they won't admit who the true people really are. And I wanted to bring out that the Apostle Gabar goes into it all the time, from time to time, that on that with the transatlantic slave trade, they had signs that showed Hebos for sale. All right, which that was a term for Hebrews, and then it got changed to Negroes. That byword got put on. All right. But yeah, these devils are guilty. All right. But they hold themselves not guilty, and these other nations all took a part of it. The UN is, let's actually, and they just want to give you a holiday, a day of Commemorates. All right, let's see. Let's get an overview of the United Nations. Right? It doesn't say that they were confederate against the the international organization in 1945, currently comprising of 193 member states dedicating to maintaining international peace, security, and human rights. And they can't keep that peace, security, and human rights, all right, if the truth is, trotting them down, all right? That's why they made that call to, hey, let everybody in equality be equal, but who are you truly helping? All right? The same for world peace is for, your peace and dominance in an attempt to keep that control. This is a where do I want to go? Oh, let's get Amos 1 and 11. Just gonna grab a couple more. Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity and terror, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. All right, and this is part of that wrath. This bondage that we're still in, but that bondage that was heavy, that heavy yoke of iron that was upon. All right, well, Judah got the worst of it. So all Israel got the worst of it. Say it like that, but some may speculate that Judah, the southern kingdom got, which what they did to Gad ain't nothing to make light of either. Okay, this devil been, did heinous crimes to all 12 tribes. All right, and this is them trying to do damage control, but they ain't bringing reparations. All right, they ain't calling for reparations. You ain't gonna see that happen in your lifetime, which they couldn't pay. Only Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai can give these devils the recompense that they deserve, and they ain't able to pay off, they atrocities. So, I'm gonna go into Zechariah 1. And 15, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. So what you think is going to happen to you, man? Yahweh Shem Shai said this in Deuteronomy 30:7. You other nations made touch the apple of his eye, and guess what? These curses going to come back to you. Yeah, y'all going into slavery soon, Lord willing. And Yahweh, thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. There you go. Got something coming for you. All they that devoured thee, you shall devour. Revelation, the 13th chapter. Those that held captives shall go in captivity. Okay. Slocky. Lamentations, all right there. 4:21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz, that the cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and and shall make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry away into captivity. He will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. So this devil is being exposed and about to be exposed in the worst ways. All right, he's about to fill that cup. When the cup passed through, he's gonna drink, of all the hardships, and he gonna reap what he sowed. All right, and these other nations too. All right, but Edom is gonna get it the worst, rightfully so. All right, I had another one. That's what it was. Psalm 75:10. All the horns of the wicked also will I cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted. So Israel going to go from that lowest state to the highest state, and all the horns of the wicked, all right, will I cut off. The power structure, horns, really being that power. But what does this beast have? 10 horns, okay? Which is just talking about, power, okay? But hey, the horns of this beast system are about to be cut off too. Okay, and when the Lord takes out this power structure, hey, Jacob gets to have that eternal rulership for an eternity. All right, but that was I just seen that video and it just kind of blew me and put me in a, really piss you off, because it's like, man, these devils ain't never gonna stop trying. They ain't never gonna stop trying to make themselves the spotless, blameless. The Lord got something coming for you. We don't want justice on this side. We want Yahweh Shem Yahushai, to bring that. All right, and He is. So, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. To the next one.